Welcome everyone to this very special episode of Theta Thursday this week. As usual, we have Don Rea as our host and Mifune. What the hell?
I just made a mistake.
Uh-oh.
I just have to fix the video. Calm down. Calm down.
Don't worry about the
Anyways.
There we
video.
go. Fixed.
Welcome everyone to a very special episode of Theta Thursday this week with, as usual, our hosts Don Rea and Mifune. Oh my goodness, where's Mifune? Well, it seems that Mifune, his shipping container that he was living in, has been picked up by a seagoing vessel, and he has gone out of internet communication range. Anyways, so I will be on camera to look at tonight. So my eye candy, we have as usual Docs Heckard, Ragnar Schwarzkopf. Eric is joining us tonight, and so gratefully hosting our stream and taking some of the technical burden upon his shoulders. And we have a very special guest tonight, Carneros of the Bastion, founder and CEO of the Bastion, and we'd like to welcome him here tonight.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Yes. So we got a couple different things to talk about tonight. We obviously have had some news this week. We've also got obviously our special guest to talk about some of his history and some of the impacts, things he's seen throughout the war, and just whatever we decide to get into. You guys know how it goes. I do want to, let's just get it out of the way now before a bunch of people show up. The F2O Keepstar died today.
Aww.
Anyways, the actual funny part, it's I don't know how this happens. I don't understand how this happens, but someone who has been AFK, logged off, kicked out of Goonswarm for 10 plus months, like almost like right before I checked the date or the days, it was like 293 days. He's been in Breeder Tribe, which would put you about 10 months. So almost directly from the war, this Titan pilot has been gone, and he logged in today and sat in his Titan as the Keepstar died. And for those of you that don't know, when you do that, instead of you going to asset safety, you pop out in space and are available for murder.
Basically a failed abortion.
Oh my god, Ragnar! You can't.
Oh, Ragnar!
What?
Oh,
Can't
you
take
can't
you anywhere.
say that.
What do you mean? That's not bad.
It is. It's. Well, I don't want you to say it. So.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
But yes, so instead of the Titan being happily asset safetied, which just FYI for everybody to know, any ship, if you're sitting in it, doesn't get asset safetied. So if you're in a position where you can't defend your structure and you got to go to sleep, just get out of the ship first. So that way you wake up in your pod in space.
Especially for people who are gunning the structure. You want to get out of your ship and then get back in the gunner's seat.
Yeah, that way if the building blows up, your ship's not going to be, blown up right next to you, because who cares about your pod, right? You'll end up at home. So,
what else has been going on, Don?
Well, that was the funniest thing today, and oh my god, so many people that I've been talking to were like, "Look, a Goon Titan died." I'm like, "That's been in Brooder Tribe. It's literally not been a Goon for almost a year. I don't really feel like it counts anymore, guys. He has not been impactful or helpful in this war at all, clearly, unless it's an alt, but the rest of this week, let's see. We've had some dev blogs dropped this week. I think one of the biggest ones that I think everybody's very excited about was the red dot was destroyed. So now it is
thank you, Brisk Rubal.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
And we asked Brisk if he can come hang out. So
do we just have an option to disable it now?
Option to disable it.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
We can now toggle it. Now the default is to have it on for the newbies who are like, I don't know where my stuff went, for them to make it easier. But it is toggleable for us veterans who like have a problem seeing notifications. I really feel like people at CCP did not think about the fact that some of us, like myself, have a really hard problem with notifications sitting there unread. It bothers me a lot.
I like the
So-
red dot.
Well, it's because you're old.
I'm not. Oh my.
Not you. I'm talking about Greg.
Oh yeah. Maybe.
Well,
There has been very few times where that thing has been helpful to me. It's been more of an annoyance because I'll be flying around, or I'll get into a structure and I'll buy ship pieces, and then I'll see the +7 or whatever come up, and I can't help it. I have to open it up, even if I know what I bought is what it is, and I know that if I just like undock, it'll go away. I can't help it. I have to look. I have all the notifications on the bottom right corner, with all the like structure shot and iHubs getting hacked. Some of those still come up for me, and I cannot leave them there. Even in the even in the middle of the Titan fight in M2, when they had a couple notifications still coming up, even in the middle of horrible 10% tie-dye, anytime a notification came up, I still would open that window to close it. That's how much they bother me.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well,
Even though I know I
also,
run the risk of like really slowing my computer down.
what annoyed me about the red dot is I wouldn't have anything new in my inventory, but I'd change clones and it'd pop up. I'm like, bitch, I just changed my clone. There ain't nothing new in my inventory. Like, it's
Yeah,
the
but it
same
counts
as
it.
before. I know it. It's like, why?
Or there was a bug where if somebody else in your fleet picked up anything, you would get the notification too, even though you didn't pick up anything.
Oh yeah,
They
the
fig-
title for the stream is wrong. So whoever's doing that, you royally fucked up.
It's okay. We don't ever need to be labeled. We were pushed to talk last week, so we could be
It's
permit
fixable.
compliance this week.
It's fixable.
You know what?
I think
actually
Greg can
switched
fix
you.
it. I think Greg can
that's
fix
actually a
it.
good
Oh.
show if you haven't seen it. If you haven't seen Zenith Desef's permit compliance, that's actually pretty cool. He buzzes around, flies around, and does some crazy stuff. That's on Tuesday nights.
The only permits we check are your shit posting permits. Those are issued by Theta itself.
Speaking
Oh,
of shit
no.
posting, Ragnar, have you been into any crazy shit posting this week?
No, just reporting Pappy memes as I usually do.
What about what about you and Joey? You and Joey Zom have an ongoing feud, sir.
No, nothing much
There's a lot
recently.
of Ragnar posting memes about how Razor jumped his Titan to a beacon.
Oh
We're
yeah,
not
I
gonna-
did make
we're
that.
not
Oh, guys,
Yeah.
we weren't gonna go there.
Oh no,
Come
we
on.
must like I said, either I'm not gonna say it on stream.
Yeah, no.
No, we'll leave it. Oh, hi, Ryak, by the way. Welcome to Theta Thursday. If you guys don't know, or
Nachos, you know.
Hmm?
He has nachos.
Oh, okay. Well,
so
that's
Docs,
important.
what's happened with you this week, Docs? If you we'll get your segment out of the way quickly. The segment's called "Holy Shit!" An Officer Spawn with Doxicard.
It doesn't work.
None recently. It's not working at the moment because I've not really been logging in, but maybe I'll log in sometime in the next few days and we might have something for next week.
Greg, I need you to pay attention. Docs has been playing WoW for like a week and a half or two.
Something like that, yeah.
Do they have officers in WoW that you can make spawn and like?
I did get a mount that has a 0.2% drop chance, if that counts.
I
There-
don't think we're
there- there
allowed to
are-
talk about
there are
stuff like that.
There's the Silver Dragon Elites that are the rare spawns, so that's Dox's new thing.
Oh, okay.
Sounds absolutely fascinating.
I you know what? Here, how about instead of holy shit, an officer spawn, it's holy shit, a shiny Pokemon. I got a shiny this week. I was
Oh,
super
yeah, you did,
excited.
didn't you?
An actual like normal shot. Like I caught it all on my own. Like there was no cheats or anything involved. I was very proud. It's super duper cute.
Yeah, but
too.
that's not Eve related.
Do I care?
Yeah,
No, I
because
don't
you
care.
specifically said when we stop talking about Eve stuff, your ship goes down.
It's true.
Every
It
time
is
I
true.
played Pokemon on the Game Boy, I used the Game Shark to give myself infinite Master Balls.
Of course you did.
Everyone who could did, yeah. Yeah.
Cheaters never win and winners never cheat, guys. Don't you remember Happy Days?
I don't know. I'm really happy with my
I don't
entire
know.
shiny Eevee
Arnold
group.
Schwarzenegger took a lot of steroids, and he got a lot of.
I cheat a lot, Greg.
Yep. Case in point. Okay, so we should Carneros. Sorry for all the spurg, but Theta comms and all, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you've been playing since 2009.
Yes.
6 years, sir. 6 years in Bastion. Care to give us maybe a little insight into Bastion, into its history, and into what you guys are up to today, and what the esprit de corps is like in Bastion at the moment.
Okay. I'll back it up a little bit. I had been playing E for about 6 months when I joined the company. I went to work as a CCP dev, and my name at the time then switched to CCP Zinfandel. I had been in a little friends and family type corp that was ex WoW players. It was fun, and they were teaching me how to play until they got invited to go join Nelly Secunda.
Yeah.
And they left me in the dust as a brand newbie in high sec.
Do you feel like you dodged a bullet there
No,
instead of going to NS?
I would have joined if I had any skills and talent at the time and whatever, but I didn't. So then I went to Eve University to learn, and I went to and I just took every course I could. And when I joined CCP, I thought, wow, I have to learn this game. So on I went. I just took every class and tried everything. Did not expect to like PvP, but did. After the Summer of Rage and the 20% layoff, I got laid off with most of the Atlanta office. I was mostly living in Iceland, but I was associated with the Atlanta office on loan to Reykjavik and was being paid out of Atlanta and stuff. Had an apartment there that I almost never saw, and got laid off with them. And one of my buddies in the corp said, who knew me in real life and was also a game dev, he said to me, you don't have to stay in Eve University anymore. You can go play the game as you like. Because in those days, CCP devs could not really play Eve fully. They could only play sort of a light version of it. So he said, I've met this group. It's run by a guy who's a podcaster. And he makes great podcasts. He has an amazing vision. It's a small group. You should get in and join us while we're small. I said, okay. So he says, I said, what's the name of the corp? He goes, Li3's Electric Cucumber. I thought, really? You joined a corp with a name like that? Whatever. I'm good with you. You're my friend. I don't care what you named it. So I joined this corp. We get all set up to jump into nullsec. We're going to go live in nullsec. I've read up everything I can on the Eve Uni wiki and taken every course about preparing yourself. I can fly a Drake. I think I'm ready. I buy everything under the moon and I take it to the staging system. Skill books I thought I might want in the future, and I don't know what I was thinking. We pile everything into a jump freighter that belonged to the corporation. He jumps our stuff in at a bad moment. His jump freighter gets popped, and everything we own is now floating in space. And that was our introduction to LSEC. I looked at my friend and I said, well, and the corp says, we don't have another jump freighter. Okay, so the two of us looked at each other and I said, how about if we buy some Plex and we split the cost of buying them a new jump freighter? He goes, okay, great, I'm in. So we figured out how much it would cost. We'd never bought a jump freighter. We couldn't fly it. Bought some Plex, sold them in Jita, bought it and gave it to the CEO. a guy named Jade Cougar. Well, they were shocked. And after that, they kind of paid attention to us in the corp, and we weren't just two random faces there. We were somehow like, I don't know, more interesting people, even though I knew relatively little. We'll roll forward a few months. I ended up being the XO of the corp. We roll for a few more months. We've outgrown the alliance we were in, and we've started our own alliance. There wasn't any room in the CFC, so they put us in Honey Badger Coalition. So we joined. We were a founding member of Honey Badger Coalition. We had space in Aquarius, of all places. Participated in a bunch of stuff. At one point, an alliance called Convicted got asked to leave the CFC. This is a while back. Some of you probably don't even remember Convicted. And the Mittani turned to us and said, hey, do you want to bring Li3 Federation back to join us in the CFC? And Jade Cougar and I looked at each other and said, hell yeah. So then we told our alliance, said we're going to move up north. Half of them quit. Turns out some of them were Pandemic Legion alts that were just, with us for fun and a calm place away from whatever they really did back then. I shook my head and said, no, I guess you can't come with us then. And we went up north and restarted. And they put us next to Gentleman's Agreement in Vale of the Silent. And the first thing Gentleman's Agreement did for us was pick a system that would be good for our headquarters and dropped a Galente egg for us there.
No.
And just set it up.
Well, that's the nice one too, right?
That's the really tall one that
the
looks
Marginis
like
one?
A skyscraper. It was the one that had all, and the reason it was that one is because that's the one that had all of the office space available in it. Because you always need offices.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
All right,
we're
wait a
spoiled.
second. What's a Galente egg? I'm sorry, I'm new.
Oh, he's younger. So, basically, in the past, they used to have outposts, which were like stations, and players could build them. It took a lot of players together to make them. And you put down what's called like the egg, is what they called it, and it was as if we were dropping a keep star. Only these were much more special, and they're what turned into the faction Fortizars. That's like the gist of it, right?
Okay, yeah. The process of dropping a new major structure like that, the closest thing today would be a keepstar, was arcane and weird and involved sitting outside in a freighter and putting ingredients in it one at a time and guarding it at just before downtime, and you have to protect it, and then you wake up after downtime, log back in, and hope it was correct and pointed in a useful direction and had turned into the Galente outpost. But anyway, that's crazy. But they did it for us and had it all set up. They Titan bridged freighters of our stuff in from LoSec. They did all kinds of really nice things. Then it was a great welcome and make friends with them. We would sometimes do joint military ops. We looked at their FCs like they were fantastic and amazing, and we had it was great. It was great stuff. A couple years go by. We're at FanFest in Iceland. I'm going to guess it was around 2015. I'm in a meeting with the Mittani and Kesper North, the CEO of Gentleman's Agreement. And at this point, I'm CEO of Li3 Federation. Kesper says, look, I'm going through a bunch of stuff in life. I need to take a break. I need to step down from leadership of Gents. I have no succession plan. There's no one ready to take over. We don't know what to do. Do you have any advice? And the Mittani is listening, and I said, well, if you can't find anyone else, we can merge them all together with my guys, and I'll just do them both together. And we'll pick a new name instead of merging one into the other and trying to be unfair. Just to try to be more fair. And they talked about it, and we thought about it some more and said, okay, let's go for that. So we picked the Bastion because it was supposed to be the last bastion of civilization on the edge of the Empire. We were the farthest toward Empire space, out in Vale of the Silent. And that's how the Bastion started. Now we don't have Vale of the Silent anymore.
But you got other stuff you're putting some work in.
Oh,
yeah. Nowadays. Oh, boy, are you ever.
Well, this war thing started last July. I don't know if you guys have been following it. And
no, not at all.
At the time, we were mostly living in Fountain. We had set up a new keep star next to NPC space in Fountain just to give a little spice and adventure, and because we were kind of starting to get fat and a bit lazy out in Delve. So we moved out there. Some folks really liked it. Some people didn't really care. They just wanted to be with their friends. Some people wanted to stay in Delve. But it grew on us, and we'd been there a couple of years and really liked it as a group. When the hostiles rolled up and said, we're really angry at Goonswarm, let's attack Fountain first. Okay. It's always, friends first. So they came in and rolled through.
No, they were salty.
Rolled through our space, wiped out every keep star, every faction Fortizar, and almost every Fortizar too. And just left the little small buildings that didn't count. And then they said, we glassed Fountain. Fountain has fallen. I'm like, okay. Yes, Fountain has fallen. So we rolled into 1DQ. And we sat there for like a week. And then one of my Sky team, one of my head FCs says, nuh-uh, I'm not sitting here and doing this. They just wiped out all our stuff. I want revenge. I want to go on the offense. I don't want to sit in Delve and play defense.
Is that Keisha?
That was Keisha, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Keisha says, I want to make a SIG and invite only the ones who want to come. Let's do that. So I said, okay, we've got, we used to have another SIG. We'll take that infrastructure on the IT side and we'll rebrand it to whatever you want to call it. Actually, the last thing it was called was Delta Squad, which turns out is a terrible name because there's another group called Delta Squad in Google.
They're Delta Squad.
It's SQAD.
Yeah, they don't have a U.
Well, Keisha
that's fine.
Doesn't have a U either, but he gets by. Yeah. But we said, okay, we'll take that. And he didn't care what the name was. And we set it all up, and he picked Esoteria. So they go out to Esoteria, and they start a little band of hardcore guerrilla warfare out there. And they're being annoying until people stopped paying attention. And then they started to be more dangerous. And they set stuff up and took some systems, took a constellation, somehow made friends with the Stain Russians, and then said, do you want to help us take this? And they said, we've been working here for 2 years shooting these things. You are helping us. I said, okay, fine. Do you want us to help you take this? Okay. So they would each take turns, dropping a TCU or an iHub and setting stuff up and, just moving more stuff and more doctrines. Okay, now we need another doctrine. Okay, now we need another one. And they just kept moving stuff in. People kept saying, oh, I want to go help. And then they said, okay, we got these good timers. Can you send everyone over? I said, we're going to try a little deployment. We're just going to go over for a couple weeks. I think we stayed for 3.5 weeks and helped out, and we went back home. We had some other stuff going on. And then I don't know, we ended up just going back out there and putting all in on this. It's hard to explain. Stuff just flowed organically, and you know, we got a lot of personal enjoyment out of making a difference in a smaller fish pond than being a little guy in a big fish pond in Delve.
No, I definitely understand that feeling, because the interactions that I've had with Delta Squad out in Aquarius before we all just moved out recently, they were doing kind of the same thing, little guerrilla warfare, trying to just, they knew, we knew we're not as big as Brave or anybody out there, but we're gonna do what we can to
Annoyed
put
the shit
herd
out of
in.
them.
And we
Yeah.
and we did, especially with like figuring out what doctrines can work to maximize the pain and minimize the loss as best as possible. I mean, dear God, we beat a fleet of Cerberuses with hurricanes. I don't know how that happened, but it did. And we won an iHub contest with hurricanes. And I wasn't even Logi on that. I've never been like hard tackle before, but I was flying a Harpy, and it was a very new experience. And now I'm like, I see why a lot of people really like doing this. If you've got the right person motivated to be in charge, and they're semi-charismatic, they kind of know what they're doing, they're encouraging, and from what I've seen Keisha on at least the meta show and stuff, he seems like he's the kind of the right balance to lead a group like that. You can accomplish a lot.
He's a little bit low key. He's not like a flashy FC. He doesn't hype talk and such, and he doesn't have Asher's gift of gab during a fleet. You can join an Asher fleet, and an hour can go by, and you don't even realize you're still sitting on the Titan because the conversation was so good.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a really good FC, and he had a superb team supporting him. So they're helping a lot in other time zones and other, building him doctrines and moving assets in and dropping upgrades and iHubs and all the little grunt work that you have to do it. Poor Keisha had never managed Aegis Sov type stuff before. He didn't know what the rules were for what you could do with a TCU or an iHub, or how upgrades work, or when you add them and how to move them around, or when to pay bills. Ooh, yeah, that was a conversation.
So there's those things you learn as you go.
We had to educate him a little bit. Okay, now can you flip that over to Stain? No, you can't actually. I can,
Self-destruct it. Yeah, God, don't even get me started on going between alliances with iHubs and stuff.
Well, in some ways, it's less awkward than what they used to do in the previous version, which was you had little utility corporations that traveled back and forth between alliances, and you would move it to that corp, and then that corp would change alliances, and then that corp would give it to the executor of the new alliance, and went like that with timers. It was awkward as heck.
That sounds awful.
Yeah.
Sounds awful.
Yeah, we're having fun out here. Occasionally we go on the meta show and say something too crazy, and then Tess turns around and
they're like, "Oh, we're gonna show you what's what."
And they do. They'll go back, drop 150 Tempest Fleet issues on our heads, and we will run away because otherwise we just die. And then we start again after they leave and make more timers and work our way back up again. There have been some Keepstars and Sotios and Fortizars that we've reinforced over and over and over again, and then waited till we got a good timing on the final timer. And Tess was now stuck with, okay, do I blow up this final timer in Delve, or do I do this final timer here in Esoteria? We don't need that in Esoteria, and we blow it up. That would be how we got there.
It is kind of Sorry, I was just gonna say it is kind of interesting how the meta show does dictate the pace and the tempo of the war sometimes with things that are said on the meta show, and I think specifically the way the Mittani has the ability to tug at the heartstrings of the enemy. Maybe heartstrings isn't the right word.
No, he gets
Their
under their
testicles.
skin.
Tugs
He-
at their testicles softly.
Yeah, he gets at them, and they cannot stand that we won't. And I see it when they interact with me and, the other groups that I talk to outside of Goonswarm. They cannot stand that we don't bow down, that we don't cower, that, we still try to puff up and have shit talk right back at them.
It's like, how dare you? You've been reduced to a constellation. How dare you talk shit to us? It's like,
how dare you
okay.
act like you're so big and mighty? Look at how
Okay,
far
Titan
Goonswarm has
Gopher.
fallen.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, well, and kind of leading into a topic we talked about last week is Test is absolutely convinced that PanFam is going to stay around in Delve and protect them for at least 6 months.
After
make
the
sure
war.
to make sure that we don't rise up and exact our revenge.
Not like as soon as NCPL and Pandemic Horde pull out, like the next week we entosis all their shit and just take it back.
Oh, no. Per NC pilots today, they said, and I quote, I expect to be attacking Test within a month after we're done with Goons.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Like,
and where are they going to retreat to? Like, okay, let's say that's true. What Don's saying is true. And, there's no proof or anything. It's just what some NC pilots have said. But let's suppose it's true. So that means they won't, because we're already kicking their asses back in their home regions. So they won't have that to fall back on. The most, the region they've held on for the longest, I suppose, would be
Paragon Sol.
Well, Paragon Sol period basis, I'd say, and which period basis is kind of a pain in the ass to get to. So
that's a crappy region.
Yeah, so they would have to hold up there because they're not going to hold Delve, they're not going to hold Fountain, and Brave, they barely survive from completely imploding, and they're holding on to Quirius because that's literally all they have left. So Delve and Quirius will probably fall within a month of NCPL Pandemic Horde leaving.
And let's be real here from personal experience. Brave cannot hold Quirius on their own. They are not big. They're not motivated enough. They aren't coordinated enough. I mean, once again, when a group of hurricanes, about 30 to 40 hurricanes, can kick 50 plus, I think they had about 60 Serbs, maybe more, can kick 60 Serbs' asses and win an iHub contest in Quirius, and we put down our own just because we actually, no, I don't think we did, but we blew up their iHub as a parting gift before we left Quirius. Once again, they're ripe for the picking. They are not good at defending their homes.
As I was saying, they have Paragon Sol, period basis would be the places they could, hole up in. And because they can't hold Delve, we'll take it back. And even if we don't, if NC, if that's true, then they'll be pressured from both sides. Like NC invading Delve to kill them, and us, being in Delve already and killing them. It's basically double penetration at that point. So
Carniers, I know you're honestly going to be here the whole night. I do want to ask, with your view of everything with Brave, because I know that I believe you talked to Dunk a decent amount, or at least know Dunk. I feel like all of you guys know each other really well, for some reason. But
great, Dunk's a great guy. I enjoy our LA local monthly meetups.
Mm-hmm. I'm just wondering how you see Brave's future is, where they're at.
Because it's not bright.
Well, what do
Eve
you
is
think?
a long-term game. Eve is a long-term game. I could see Brave having different closest friends 10 years from now. It's hard to predict what's going to happen. I'd like to point out the fact that Eve is going to change a lot after this war.
Oh my god, yeah.
Uh,
So much.
it's
Hell, during the
predicting-
war.
I know.
during the war too, but after the war, I mean, if you had told me 6 months ago that I'd be basically living in Esoteria, I would have thought you were on crack. I just,
Fair enough.
I think this is a bad time to predict what's going to happen to X or Y in the future. The level of change is going to just be mind-boggling.
I mean, personally, not necessarily what I think is going to happen, what I want to happen is a coup, and then someone finally fucking kills the Alliance. Like, just shuts it down like they did with Bob.
It's had
They're difficult.
It's had coups before.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I hope it happens, and they just fucking put a bullet in it like an injured horse.
The thing is, there's a lot of things that are going on
Ragnar's
behind
for-
it's on our side that we don't know about because, like, I'm nobody. Like Ragnar, I know you're G Sol or whatever, so you may have a little bit more than I do, but I know that there's stuff that none of us are privy to. There's probably stuff going on behind the scenes that there's only maybe 5 or 6 people that are privy to. So we've got our irons in the fire, and I'm sure the other side is working equally as hard in their subterfuge and their deep, dark, black ops kind of spooky CIA-esque type stuff. So you never know, and that's why I always have hope, because I think that that the group of people that we have in the Imperium, the group of people that we have in Goonswarm, are second to none as far as being good people. I'm 51 years old. I've played games since I was since the 90s, right? So I've played with a lot of different types of people, and this is the best group of people that I've ever played with. And I've played with a lot of different groups of people, but we can really swing it. We can really get behind what's going on, and that's our strength. Our strength is our society, our culture, and they're never going to break that. They may poke at the doors of 1DQ. I can't see them physically taking 1DQ. I don't think that. Yeah, and you can clip this if you want. I don't care, but I don't think that they'll ever take 1DQ.
I feel like not like it being the best group of people that you've ever played with is more along the lines because of, like, say you played WoW, like you really only talked to like 25, 30 people, whereas opposed to like we're in the Imperium and there's like 20,000 of us.
Not quite
Or,
that.
well, I don't know how many it is, but it's a lot.
Speaking of all the spy stuff that you kind of brought up, we've had some interesting action this week with Snuffed and RC shifting to a new board front. This kind of harkens to some of the stuff that the Imperium's been famous for in the past, and I thought it was pretty interesting. It's a short read, but apparently RC a couple weeks ago, or maybe a couple months ago, put a spy, or bragged about getting a spy into Snuffed Out, and they decided to blab about it on Reddit. I don't know if they pulled something off, but they bragged about having a spy in Snuffed, and now they're fighting Snuffed along with Siege Green. And Snuffed, I believe, Tuesday night or Wednesday, revealed that they had gotten a spy into RC and got it leveled up enough that he was given roles, to which he decided to flip a couple faction fortizars, a couple other structures, and clear out all the corporation hangars to the tune of about 350 billion. Which
Plus some Titan BPOs, I think.
yeah,
Because they had
got-
I think they had corp jobs running, and if you have certain like access in a corp or alliance, you can cancel those jobs, and then they go to the hangar they're started or whatever corp delivery. I don't know. I've never done it, but I know you can. So I think he canceled a bunch of research and building jobs and stole all that shit as well.
So I just found that I hate messing with Snuffed Out at all, just because they are those wily, devious, conniving guys that will do that. But it does remind me of some of the things in the past that people pulled off, and I was kind of explaining to Greg about Khartoum and about the Bob director flip, some of the famous ones. We've also had the judge flipping for DO2, but that was like a psyop flip. Carniers, are there any other like spy
Oh,
ones?
Requiem Eternal.
Oh well, that was an
It's not
opportunistic
spy,
flip.
but
That was an opportunistic flip.
It's
But I'm
still
wondering,
flip.
is there any spy flips that from the past you can think of off the top of your head?
You hit all the ones that I can remember.
Yeah, I'm sure there's all these little ones out there. It happens more often than not because somebody gets pissed at somebody else, or someone, one group offends the other, and so now one group is motivated to destroy the other group. And while it may end up, I don't know if it's necessarily healthy for the game, but it does kind of entice people into the game to experience this dog eat dog world. Is there chat? Do you think of any other ones that we didn't bring up?
Carnos, you mentioned that you lived in Iceland. What was that like? That's Iceland's always kind of fascinated me because it's such a tiny place as far as population, and it's got some very interesting things going on.
It's a beautiful place. It's amazing. It makes it has a lot of variation in it. It has places that are green and beautiful and lush. It has places that are white and ice, and places that are black and lava leftovers. And it has, just drama. Places that are flat, places that are steep, places that are cold and windy. So
it's really cool that the whole country is run off geothermal too.
Yes. Yeah, that Icelanders, for example, don't know what a hot water heater is. In America, where I live, every house has a hot water heater. You've got a pipe coming into your house with the cold water from the city. It gets split up, and some of it goes to a hot water heater, and then it comes to your sink as either hot or cold. Iceland doesn't have that. Instead, they have two pipes that come in from the city into your house. One that comes from basically a hot spring, and one that comes from a cold spring. And the hot spring one usually has to sit in giant tanks above ground for 3 days or something to cool off so that it doesn't come too hot into the house and cook their people. It's seriously that. So no one needs a hot water heater. They just have two pipes coming in. And then it's amazing. It's a crazy place.
Is Iceland where you developed your love for wine? Because you're a bit of a wine aficionado, apparently.
No. Wine goes back to my youth, and then I'm originally from San Francisco, and there's a lot of wine country near San Francisco. Napa, Sonoma, for example.
Yeah, because
I've liked wine for many years, and it's a hobby. Video games and wine are my two hobbies.
So you've been involved in some other video games other than Eve. What games have you been involved in?
Geez, I've probably either launched as a marketing guy or worked on as a producer 50 games in the past 30 years. So my first MMO was Meridian 59. If you remember that, it was just before Ultima Online.
Yeah, I do.
EverQuest. Yeah. So I worked on Meridian. I worked on just all kinds of stuff. EverQuest, EverQuest 2, PlanetSide 2, Age of Conan. Oh, that was a funny one. First time I ever posted on the forums, on the Goonfleet forums, was to invite people, if they wanted to participate in the Age of Conan beta, to reply to me, and I'd give them a free key for the beta.
And how did that
Unfortunately,
go?
I didn't realize that I wasn't a member of their young, youthful, silly online community, and I didn't know you don't sign your posts. For example. So I immediately got a 7-day ban from something Tears. I can't remember his name.
Dead Tier?
Dead tears.
Here, yeah, and couldn't respond to all the people who posted in my thread asking for a beta key. Anyway, that was crazy. Since then they've posted more guidance for new players, but I just told my guys, look, don't post on the Goonfleet forums until you've been in the Imperium for at least a year and have just watched and carefully absorbed their posting culture, because they're really sensitive about posts. Am I wrong?
Only certain people are.
Always post though, never not post. You should always be posting. I'd like to see a little bit more of that out of my. I'm in Sundering. That's my corporation. I'd like to see more posting from our guys. And Hell Dump. You can do pretty much anything you want in Hell Dump. You can sign your posts if you want, but
I think
caveat
getting
emptor.
the rest of our corp post more is a dangerous idea. Most of it'll probably be terrible.
Oh come on,
Yeah,
Doc.
I don't know that anybody wants me posting about. Well, I'm not going to bring it up here, but we all know.
People I recommend
Little fit.
don't post in our lines.
Oh hey, Dominic, how you doing, buddy?
Dominic.
I just came here to. You brought him in here so he could talk good things about Carneros in front of Carneros.
Dominic
So.
is
I'd
our
probably
head
start a
diplomat.
post about everyone in the Imperium, please post pictures of your feet so I can rate
Oh.
them.
Oh dear Lord.
I could get behind that. That sounds like fun.
But anyway, Dominic is the Bastion's head diplo, and other roles too. But that's his.
I will talk great about Carneros. He's the reason I joined. I mean, I joined with friends, but I came to the Bastion because he was the leader. I used to be part of the group that picked on LI3 when they were in Fountain the first time. It quite successfully, I'd like to say, but they always handled themselves so well. They would always give a fight, and they always seemed like classy guys. So he was the reason I finally broke down and joined Bastion.
Oh, thank you.
All right, give a shout out to Deccan, who's subscribed to Tier 1 for 6 months. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deccan.
Fantastic.
Yeah, my philosophy on speaking in local is you may need these guys to be on your side in 10 years. You don't know.
That's
really
definitely
what's
not
gonna happen
Ragnar's.
Yeah, it's kind of the opposite. They're not blue. Anything's on the table as long as I don't get banned from the game.
We seem to be
That
blessed
would
with
make
people
me
who try to
nervous
talk
as a
in local
philosophy.
and don't do a very good job with it, though. And then it just makes us all.
I've only gotten 2 GM warnings, so I'm good. Don't worry.
I had a GM warning, so I don't know what you're doing, but details.
Yeah. You gotta figure out where the line is so you don't cross it again.
So Carneros, you got video games, you've got wine. What other hobbies do you do outside of Eve or even within Eve?
Well, at the moment, I have a little side project, and that my sister bought a fixer-upper house, and it looks like some of the things that might scare you on television if you watch any of those shows where people remodel their house. And she's been needing help. So from time to time, I jump in the car, go over there, and rework her network, or move furniture around, or just whatever needs doing. Let the tile guy in while she's at work and stuff. So there's been some of that as a side hobby, and learning about replacing all your windows and getting a quote on having new stairs built and things like that. It's another one of those things that I didn't expect I would be doing next in life, but yeah, you kind of go with the flow.
That kind of falls in line of what Don does for a living. Maybe you can help Carneros out, Don.
Don,
Not at
I'm
all.
so going to pick your brain. Okay.
I don't. All I do is I project coordinate. I just make sure things show up. I don't do anything with installs. I don't
Well,
know
you could
anything about the stuff.
maybe get Carneros some deals.
No, I can't. I don't even get deals for myself. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you what to watch out for because I've seen every problem under the sun. But no, I'm not a designer or a contractor or anything like that. But I can tell you what questions to ask when they try to give you some bullshit.
All right. At the moment, I'm trying to replace all the windows in my condo in San Francisco, and I'm not sure. And they're telling me that the most important thing is really, it's not even how good the window is, it's how good the installer is, and make sure they do a really, really good job installing it.
And let me tell you, you do want to check Yelp reviews because they will be 100, or like any review, because you take some with a grain of salt, but they're probably pretty accurate.
Okay.
The other thing is like with Windows, you just want to make sure it's framed right and that you know your warranty and you keep the stickers on the window because they're pretty good about their warranties. But don't ever fix anything yourself.
Roger.
First, because if you do that, you'll void it. So you just don't touch anything. You see a problem, you take pictures and send it to the manufacturer, and they will fix it. They'll let you know what they need to do. Because if you touch it at all, you void it.
All right.
And they're jackasses about it.
Okay. Well, I got some breaking news.
Breaking news?
Yeah, breaking news. Apparently, Mifune is okay. Whoever is keeping him captive in the shipping container has slipped a small meal under. Okay, all right, Mifune. Yeah, we'll check in next week, buddy. Hope you're okay. Whew, that's a big load off my mind. I was worried about the poor little guy.
For those who don't know, Mifune's got called into work today. So, but yeah.
Damn you, Don.
Whatever. Do what I want. So, we've also had this week because we started with it and then we got distracted for about an hour and now we're back to it. We had this week a devblog, a teaser devblog, which was not edited apparently at all, dropped with 2 big changes, and one of them is huge, which is the multi-clones in one station. Which I think is going to be a major
I'm going to call
game
that
changer.
four changes, not 2.
A 4? Okay.
4 changes. There was 4 things.
More?
1 was the jump clones. 2 was the burst jammer. 3 was the wormhole mass limitations thing. Mass allowed.
Oh, that's right. I didn't care about that.
4th was the target spectrum breaker being remodeled into a new thing.
See, 2 of those things I didn't even pay attention to or understand, so I just like glazed over them.
Oh.
But if you know more about those other 2, go ahead.
Let's go to the last one for a moment. Imagine that you're in a battleship on the combat field, and you've got a new button you can push, but not very often. Kind of like the ADC on your heavy assault cruiser.
Mm-hmm.
And what it will temporarily do is shrink down your SIG radius for a few seconds. And that's all it does. It would be really helpful if, for example, a wave of bombs were coming in on you. or if perhaps you were engaging with a dreadnought, for example, or something you're being shot at. The ability to shrink that down would be a helpful thing, but you have to know when to do it, and you have to kind of get your fleet to all be on the same page with it, perhaps, or watch some of them die. It's like turning off your micro warp drive sometimes. So this could be useful in some fits. I'm sure Asher will work it into one of the things that you have to have in your cargo hold, like everything else that you kind of carry with you on his fits.
Yeah.
Love you, Asher.
He'll figure it out.
Don't worry, he doesn't watch.
But it could be useful in situations. There are places where the target spectrum breaker was useful. Only one came to light for me, and that was after this change had been announced. The foxholers in the wormhole explained that if you're in a battleship doctrine and you're being attacked by Triglavians, it's nice that target spectrum breaker could sometimes break their lock and make them reset their DPS ramp with their Triglavian weapons. And that was helpful for them, but that's no longer going to be a function of these devices. They're going to get a new name and a new purpose, and be completely different. I can't remember what the new name is.
Interesting.
There was a little bit of more information on HoboLeaks that helped us build out the picture a little bit more once we knew this change was coming, such as the module name change. But then there was also a change to wormholes that the amount of mass allowed to jump through a class 1 through a class 6 wormhole is being adjusted to allow you to travel more with bigger ships with more flexibility through wormholes. I think I see a future where the heavy assault cruiser will not be the largest ship on the field, maybe. I don't know, we'll see. But it does, resources are a problem. But if the resource thing were to change, there's definitely a little bit of momentum in the direction of battleships right now.
Well, battleships are more fun in general. Honestly, a battleship brawl can just get real fun. Except for when people are like, oh, we're just going to drop dreads. I'm like, well, all right, well, there we go. There goes the fight.
You're being careful to manage this wormhole mass change to not allow larger sizes of capitals and super capitals into different classes of wormholes. They're not going to allow that to happen. But they're going to allow a little bit more portability for larger ships through wormholes. At least that's their goal. And then there the burst jammer changes. Do we want to talk about that?
Yeah, for sure.
Yep, sure.
So with the burst jammers, and I'm sure everyone who's been in this war has been impacted by a burst jammer at least once in a fight or in Tosa's node fight of some kind somewhere. And they're cancer. I love them when they're on my side, but I hate them when they're not. Basically, what people would do, for those who don't know, we'll just keep it short, is people would put them on insta warp scepters. They required very little power grid CPU impact. So you would just put it in the mid slot. You'd make your scepter, typically like a malediction or something, as fast as possible. So you'd warp in with it preheated, hit warp out to wherever you wanted to go, and then burst jam, and it would burst jam everybody in almost a 20-30 kilometer radius. It's pretty wide.
16 or something.
Okay. Yeah. It was pretty chunky. It would burst jam and break the lock, the target lock of everything in that area if it procced. Now, this jammer is based upon your radar skills as well as their skills for resistance. And so you wouldn't get everybody every time, but usually in Entosis fights, you only needed to get it once to really be effective. And in the middle of fleet fights, when you're fighting battleships, it was very easy for them to warp into the battleship fleet, which already takes an ass long amount of time to lock something. in the middle of tie-dye. They would come in and warp back out, and there's no way the battleships could catch them. And so it would, so if you were sitting there on a structure trying to defend a structure, you're sitting duck basically, and you're very easy for these scepters to be really impactful. So now they've updated the module that it requires 70 power grid, which means that you can still fit it, but it's now going to require you to not be insta-align because of all the other modules you got to get on there. And then it also removes nullification when you put it on, which means you're not going to be able to put it on a T3 or an interceptor without potentially dying, which I think are huge impacts to the game and to a style that's been very prominent in this war.
For sure, that's huge.
The chemo doctrine for strategic cruisers was a lot of fun. You get a little gang together, make sure they all have the same align times and warp speeds and stuff. You fill their upper mostly with smart bombs. You give them some tanks, and then you also give them this burst jammer effect.
Yeah, because you don't need a target lock when you're using smart bombs. They're just everywhere.
So you warp them in, smart bomb a bunch, blast once with your burst jammer as you leave to kind of make sure no one's pointed, and then you warp away. Hooray! You just did a lot of damage. It's a lot of fun, actually. Don't knock it till you tried it. But you won't be able to do that the same way either anymore. I don't think that was the target for this change. I think it was more about the interceptors.
Yeah.
You're trying to nerf Globby. Rest in peace.
Globby hates us, right? Why are you resting in peace?
I want to recognize Elise Randolph on this particular thing, because he had an idea for how to change the burst jammer that I thought was better. I'll give him some credit. That was just have the burst jammer go off at the end of the cycle. So instead of the beginning of the cycle, make it the end of the cycle. Then they have to stay there till it goes off, and then they can warp out.
That'd be reasonable.
Yeah, but they still get to keep their nullification. Anyway, that would have, of course, made the strategic cruiser chemo fleets still viable.
Yeah, I find that completely reasonable. I like that it does have the power grid difference where, I don't know if they needed to remove the nullification from it, but I find that a very interesting change. And it shows that CCP is still trying to respond and react to things that we say. And hopefully if they find that it's completely removed it from the meta, that maybe they'll adjust it again. I think the problem is we get worried that they'll change something and not touch it for years. Red dot, 2 years going. It took 2 years to make it toggle, which should have been in from the beginning, but details. So I can understand, some people are worried about it. It is a good way for a small group to battle a bigger group when fighting. So I think that's going to impact some of the guerrilla warfare that's being done. But you can achieve very similar results with a Griffin or a Kitsune. And still have, and they're cheap. And the person has to stay on grid, lock you, and try to jam you, and then tackle us or burn over there, try to catch you before they warp out. So there's some actual counterplay, not just sitting there watching this little scepter coming in and out constantly and hoping that your skills are high enough that he doesn't jam you. And usually he will at some point. So,
but we saved the best for last.
The
4 changes in that of the 4 changes in this post. The jump clones is the biggest quality of life update in my opinion, at least for me. I'm an old man. I'm older than Greg.
You've been in the game a while.
Yeah, slow.
I was gonna say Greg isn't the oldest person on the show today.
If I'm trying to switch clones really quickly and it's in another structure, there have been times I've missed the whole fleet. They're gone by the time I get in the right clone.
So is that going to mean like we can actually have a clean clone? Because with all the NN603 clones that I have, are we going to get extra clones, or is it just going to be that we can put multiple clones in the station?
You'll be able to put extra clones in the station. So they haven't really explained too much about it yet, but from what it looks like is you'll be able to put more than one clone in the station, and you can select which one you want to get in when you're doing your swapping, which is huge. People have been asking for that for years. Like probably ever since medical clones actually probably during medical clones too. I never had to go through that torture. But so that's a huge change, and I know I'll love it because keeping your Titan clone, your Titan clone is usually the most expensive, one of the most expensive clones you have, and you've got to make sure you don't fuck it up and accidentally destroy it. But you also need to keep it somewhere safe, so that way it's not going to get like flicked off like the Emotech Keepstar got flicked off, or the CO2 Keepstar by Judge getting flipped off. So you don't want to put it in just some random Citadel. You want to put it usually in your Stager or one of the bigger ones. Thank goodness in 1DQ we have a lot of Citadels that can work with it, but getting out, like flying around 1DQ is really dangerous sometimes, because getting out in your Titan pod to go put it away in another structure and then come back and with the right clone and stuff, you're just asking to get bubbled and then to become a 6 bill laughing stock.
Indeed.
Now, Greg, you had some more questions for Carneros?
Yeah,
Oh,
just
no.
just kind of picking your brain, like what are some of the major battles that you've been through that you're proud of, or some of the major battles that you've been through that are the heart destroying, crushing defeats. Just kind of regale us with some of that.
The Battle of BTAC-R is the most vivid memory in my head. It's intense. It's I was living in San Diego working for Sony Online Entertainment. The battle starts. I'm at work, first thing in the morning, and I sit on exec row, next to all the upper management, and I'm telling them what's happening as it's developing. Finally, an hour into the fight, my boss says to me, "Go home, go help out, don't lose your Titan, and keep us posted." So I jump in the car, zip home, get in a Titan, and go join the fight. And it was, went all the way till downtime. I got out of BTAC-R with less than 30 seconds left before the server shut down to go get into my safe boss and be safe for downtime. Yeah, definitely a cool boss. I agree with Barboos. Yeah, that was a big deal. That was made it. That's a memory I will keep with me for the rest of my life. Learning how to do my doomsdays and volleys, listening to the different FCs take over and do target calling for the Titans, and each had their own little style and communications, and it was amazing. But yeah, there were other memories that were great. I remember in the Halloween War with a pair of Aeons going through, helping take down sovereignty blockade units and flip structures and stuff, cap chaining my two twins together. It was super carriers worked differently in those days. They had drones instead of fighters, and they worked best in pairs. It was just great memories. I loved that war and that whole thing. I remember an early Fountain War where we did things with bombers to go around and torpedo stuff, and we would do long hours on these fleets. And I remember Shut Up and Shave, Suez, singing to us on comms in the fleet, Little Bees. And I wasn't even a goon. I was, but it was still emotional for me. It's amazing. This game has changed my life. Go ahead.
Speaking of music, like what kind of if you're on these long fleets, what kind of music do you listen to?
I usually don't. I usually can't. If I'm on a long fleet, I'm usually trying to manage alliance challenges, we'll say, instead of problems. And I'm trying to triage things on the side while I go. Yeah. I've always got a list going. I've always got a queue of things that need to happen. So sometimes a battle or a fleet op is so intense I have to put everything aside and just focus on it. Then I come back. It's a lot like coming back from work or waking up in the morning. There'll be a queue of people waiting to talk to me about what to do.
Oh, wow.
This person didn't fuel their structure. We need to do this.
Sometimes-
Are you listening to our comms? What the
Yeah,
hell?
pretty much.
That's exactly right.
I thought I was overworked with my Theta Thursday notebook.
Yeah.
That's like an actual notebook with this little puppy in a basket. And then I wrote Theta Thursday on the cover. Look at that little guy. Eh?
Oh my goodness. This is once again our high production value. Actually, apparently you're a partner in crime sometimes. Matterall is on another show right now. I saw the ping for that go up.
Oh, nice.
So
Matterall's a good guy. He has a good heart. He doesn't always see things the same way we do, and he has a thing for the underdog. He's
Delve
definitely
is fallen.
He has a thing for the underdog, yet he constantly is having Pappy members on telling their side and spouting their lines. I see.
You would be warmly invited to come on if you want.
Aw, dude, I'd get banned from his channel so fucking fast.
Yeah,
It
I was
wouldn't even
gonna
be
say,
funny.
There is
Ragnar
that.
couldn't behave on there. That's the only problem.
There is that. But he gets more volunteers from the Pappy side to go get on his show than from the Imperium side. I'm pretty sure you can imagine.
Now, Carneros, do you have any arch enemies in Eve? Do you have, like, whether it be a specific corporation, a specific alliance, or even down to a specific person that's just every time you see them on grid, you're just like, I got a primary of that person.
Very few, and I don't want to say their names.
All right, okay, I'll take that. I can understand. What about you, Ragnar?
I will give you one.
Okay.
I am not a fan of Hard Knocks. They interacted with me in bad faith on one occasion, and
How rude.
and from now on, they will not have an open door with any group I ever deal with. So that's it. They burned their one bridge.
You seem like a nice guy. Do people try to take advantage of that?
Really. Actually, what happens more often is, and this is funny, hostiles will approach the Imperium and they'll think, there's no way the Mittani would talk to me. I'll talk to Carneros and see if he'll put in a good word with the Mittani for me. So and the truth is, I'm much more likely to sit and listen to what they have to say and think about it, and then than the Mittani is. Yeah, the Mittani is not highly reachable. He's not sitting around waiting for conversations to come in and such. The man is busy. I am somewhat more approachable in that regard. And the person talking to me doesn't have to be an autocrat or some high up ranking person. I listen to, line members just exactly the same as I listen to CEOs. Doesn't matter. But I'll listen to it and then I'll go, all right. And sometimes I'll pass it to the Mittani, and sometimes I'll end up having a substantial meeting or two with the Matani about the proposal and how best to handle it. And although invariably, if he does take it on, I'm no longer involved with it after that. I've handed it off. It goes to a specialized team, and from then on, it's off my plate. And if the guy comes back to me or gal comes back to me later and says, "So, can you tell?" Nope, I'm done.
I haven't heard from him in 2 weeks. What should I say? That means potentially a no, or
He'll
he
come
forgot.
talk to you.
Or he forgot.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's interesting, and it's just like proof that you're on this show with our panel of Spurg lords that we have here.
Yeah. Although I apologize, I am running out of time. I have another engagement I'm going to have to run off to.
That is
fine.
fine.
It's
Completely
been an
understand,
honor
sir.
and a pleasure to come and join you guys.
Now we can start the shit talking on.
Yeah, we only had one gun to put against your head to get you on here. We don't have another one to force you to stay. So
We didn't force Carneros to come.
I'm sure you didn't.
Yeah,
Carneros, you're welcome back anytime, sir. You're truly a gentleman and a treasure to have on. Thank you.
Well, you're very kind. Thank you. No,
The classic
just
guy leaves,
act
we get off our
nicely.
shit talking.
All right.
Now we get to
So
start
I'm
being.
keep an eye on these guys. Make sure they don't get in trouble.
Well, yeah.
No, it's a joke. You guys can say whatever crazy stuff.
He does. I'm usually the one getting in trouble, so.
We gotta take the muzzle off Ragnar now.
You're gonna.
Amen. All right. Thank you very much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you, sir.
Bye.
He's a great guy to work for, I can tell you that.
Yes. Ugh. So basically, everything. I mean, Dominic, you see the chat with Jeremy and all them in there. I don't know how much you pay attention to it, but they absolutely 100% believe in legacy and tests that PanFam will hold their hands and prevent us Goonies from ever attacking them.
I don't know why they think that, but here's
And
the
it's
thing.
like,
If they were to get
I mean,
exactly what they wanted, let's say they got exactly what they wanted. The Imperium is gone. All 30,000 accounts, gone. We don't play the game anymore. Right? If that's really that's what they say they wanted, right? Let's say they get that. Well, one probably ends Eve. I mean, to be honest, that's a lot of, that probably would end Eve, but it would end all their fun. What were they going to do? Are they going to hold each other's hands then? No, they're going to fight each other. I don't know why they think that's not going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah, they say, oh, we'll go back to fighting, after a period of rest of 6 to 7 months of rest, and then we'll go back to fighting each other.
Here's the best part about it. Is Test is convincing all these guys to help them guard their ability to put these keep stars up, right? Test isn't helping guard them putting keep stars up. It's only them helping Test put them up. And none of them seem to realize that look how hard it is to kill a keep star. It's going to go from Imperium having a bunch of keep stars to Test having a bunch of keep stars. And these guys are helping them do it.
Yeah, true.
They don't see
Frat
it, though.
is the one that's selling it to them. So Frat is the one giving them the keep stars or selling them the keep stars to put them down. And Frat is just taking over more space. They're moving into Pureblind and Fade now because they need that much space too.
Well, they keep adding more bot accounts. Tom.
Bots take a lot of space. They take a lot of space.
They're going from Alasta all the way over to Fade Pureblind.
Well, it's because they need to have systems that they can cycle in and out of. Because if the percentage keeps going down, they're going to move their bots around so it goes back up, right? They can't just keep. It's not like before. They could just put 5 in one system and just let them run. They have to actually make them move around.
Because it's fun to pick on Fred. That's why I roast muffin.
And plus, it's true. We're not telling a lie. Everything we've said is true about Frat.
I don't think we had a ton of space. We had a half.
No, we had Fountain, we had Quirius, we had Delve, and we had Period Basis. So
technically, we have Fountain again too. I mean,
yeah. So what? We had 4 regions that we actually occupied and used.
I do get their side. I mean, it's hard not to hate the people who are better at stuff than you. You know, it's just, I get
Yeah.
it.
And they try to act once again so proud, like, look, we're giving you like the whole chat. I've literally been watching chat every now and then, and almost the entire time. One person in chat's just like, you guys should be so thankful we brought this war to you. Yes, thank you for destroying our stuff and blobbing us 3-1. And I'm
Yeah.
so happy that you're here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it just shows how far up their own asses they've shoved their own heads. Like, they're starting to get blood loss from the constriction of their sphincters. You know?
Like,
Now, I'll be the first one to admit I'll never complain about somebody else blobbing me because I've blobbed the shit out of people. If I get the opportunity to do it, fuck yes, I'm going to do it. Because guess what happens if I do that? I win.
if you
I like to win. So
if
I'm
you
not gonna,
don't do it,
yeah, you lose. Fuck. I'm not going to complain that they do it. They've gotten the opportunity to do it. They just don't do it very well, and they like cry about it as they do it. It's weird. I don't get it.
well, they're the saltiest winners, and it's
That's
just like,
exactly right, Don. That's perfect. They're the saltiest winners there is. Yeah. I don't know.
ugh.
It's one of those things. I've had a good time in the war. I like PvP. I don't do PvE stuff. I know Don, you like that, but I've had a fun time.
I like.
Guess what? I'm not out of it
it.
yet, so I'm just gonna.
I know. It's the other thing. They're like, "Oh, we're draining you drive your funds," and I'm like, okay.
No, I've just been coasting on what I've made. I'm like, I'm still fine for like another 6 months. Keep coming.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't.
I will say maybe if we weren't getting full SRP, it would be maybe a different story because like we've been known to throw ourselves into the chipper. But
and I like people saying that everyone bots. Shall I pull up the CCP provided graph that shows how much percentage of Pappy are bots as
unfortunately,
opposed
that's like
to Imperium?
3 years old.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the only data we have because CCP realized how much of a tool it can be used to bludgeon the actual botters, and they're like, "Oh, can't do that because they're in NCPL's pocket." They're like, "Oh no, makes us look bad."
That's the Imperium. The only other group I know, and I do believe this, Test actually doesn't like their people to bot either. I don't know how much they go after them. I know that we do. If we find bots within our own ranks, we purge them.
Dude, we have to tell our own people to like fucking chill. Like, because there was one guy I remember talking to someone who's like, yeah, there's this one guy who was ratting in period basis, and he was earning a lot of ISK, and it like raised some alarm bells, and so they looked into it, and it was just this guy actually like ratting in like, I don't know, it's like 15 or 20 VNIs, like all spread throughout period basis. Like it was him like actually flying them, and he was just making an insane amount of money, and people it like tripped our own systems, and people reported it, and like no, it's actually that's just him doing his thing.
They would complain about a couple Bastion members. Assumed they were botting, but the same thing. I looked into it, found no, that guy's just efficient.
Yeah,
and he played like 20 hours a day. It's like,
or like with Globby or Stormtrooper, anyone else who multi boxes, like he's brought input broadcasting, and all the Pappy / test posters like, oh, this is definite proof all their shield hardeners are on at the exact same time. And it's like, you dumb bitch. You don't know how this game works. It's great.
Yeah, that's why I just laugh at them anytime they try to bring that up. Because they've reported people that have already like shown to CCP how they do what they do, and they just report people on max.
Yeah, and I forgot who like made the video showing exactly how he does it.
Kumi.
Was it Kumi? No, it's someone else.
No, Kumi.
I mean, Kumi probably did, but there's someone else who like made a video showing exactly how he does it.
Kumi got banned because of mass reporting for like a month, and he had to send a video to appeal it to CCP because, you know, once again, salty boys want to be bitches.
I was very upset to find out that he wasn't actually input broadcasting. Was the guy who used to do all the bombers by himself?
What, on Mecca?
It really pissed me off that he was that good.
He wasn't good. He just had 7 clients, and all he had to do was
sucked.
Like
I can't be-
control, click, control, click, control. You didn't even have to point in a direction.
And if you
could just go anywhere.
if you touched any of them or scrammed any of them, he like completely shut down. Like his brain
Oh,
would
yeah.
just fry,
He didn't know
and
what to
you would
do.
be sitting ducks.
This fucking bomber group.
I don't know who the
Hmm?
bomber group you're talking about.
I think it's the same guy. I thought he got just a whole shit ton of kills with it doing that.
No,
Maybe
he would
Marshy
get-
you're thinking of? I
I
don't
don't know.
know.
I should have been impressed, but I was actually irritated that the person could do it.
Yeah.
I barely could do 1. I don't know how people do 7.
I can. The most I've done at once is like 4, and my brain, like that's me sober. My brain just hurts.
The problem, I'm never sober, so
Well, yeah, most of the time I'm not. So 2 is what I normally do. But when I'm sober and like actually trying to do something, I run 4. And like my brain is like, I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, so this one did this. What are my other guys doing? What do they have to do next? Like it hurts.
I'll do a little triple box, but I'll have 1 I'm flying in space. The other 2 are docked up. That's my triple and dual box.
I mean, God, I would triple box Rorquals and I would get high, and then I would get super paranoid. Like, what if I get dropped right now? I'm way too high to deal with this. But I would keep mining, and I would just be really high and paranoid. So it was fun for a time.
I don't really do it much anymore, but for the first 2 or so weeks of the war, I was multi-boxing. I think it was about 3 accounts most of the time on pretty much any fleet I could get on. Probably got about somewhere between 20 to 100 fleets. Triple boxing. I mean,
I can't multi-box. That's not my talent.
I
think
know,
it
Dom.
depends on what you're doing, right? Like if you're just kind of basically pressing F1, then it's pretty easy.
You
It's
would
when
think
you
so.
start
I
doing
still have
more
trouble with
stuff.
that. My problem is same thing. I get fucking high. I forget about the other ones, and they're like, "Oh shit, he's still in space."
Yeah, dude, I can't tell you how many times I've left like a recon on a gate because I forgot I was gating it, and it's there for like 10 minutes. I'm like, how is this not dead? I've only ever lost a recon once doing that though, so it's because everyone thinks it's bait. It's like, oh, it's a recon sitting at 0 on a gate.
Yeah, I would think it's bait. I mean, that's legitimate. My problem is single boxing. I'll be on a fleet, high as fuck, not paying attention. All of a sudden, 4 jumps behind everybody. That happens to me almost every fleet, and I usually get called out for it because I'm bad.
See, I can't multi-box because I'm usually lodging and I need to like focus to make sure that I'm repping people correctly, anchoring correctly, as well as usually directing the rest of the logi to actually do their jobs correctly. And it pisses me off when people say, "Oh, logi's so easy." Okay, yeah, logi that's ineffective is sure, yeah, it's easy, but logi that actually provides for the fleet and goes that extra step above that can mean the difference between winning and losing, that's skill. And
I
it's
agree.
hard.
Yeah, were
The
you
thing,
the other night we were talking about? Wouldn't it be nice if the stat of how much logi support you provide?
Reps you put in, yeah.
That would be awesome if you could find out who's doing what and who's good and who's not.
the thing with Logi is, in terms of multi-boxing, I don't really know whether I'm good at Logi or not because I rarely ever do it. But if I could, like, assuming I was good at not multi-boxing, assuming I was good at Logi with 1 character, like, if I was good at that, I think I would be just as good at doing the other 3 characters.
I've seen people do the multi-boxing logi and do it well.
Yeah, some people are really good at it. It's
I can't fucking warp from one station to another multi-boxing, let alone fucking logi.
No, don't get me wrong, if I turn out to be terrible at Logi, then obviously with 3 characters I would just be 3 times as terrible, but working on the assumption that I would be good at it with 1 clan, I think I could do 2 or 3.
I used to do Logi a lot, long time ago, and it was fun. I enjoyed it, but it's just I don't enjoy it anymore. Maybe
Well,
it's so stressful sometimes, man. I mean, that's why I don't like it.
so satisfying though when you just stop them, and it's also an awkward conversation to have with the FC when they're telling you to do something you know is bad and they don't have a good reason. They just think what they've told you is a good idea. You're like, no, that's not what's gonna happen now. And the fun part, and the other fun part for me, which is super satisfying. This is why, even though the M2 iHub contest we had a couple weeks ago at this point, it's almost been a month and a half now, where we fought over the iHub contest for M2, where we had a Baltic fleet and we had a bunch of Munin fleets running around. I had a blast because they had carriers and dreads and I think like an Eagle fleet all pounding down on these Baltics, but they weren't shooting our Munin fleet. So I told all my Munins, we're gonna rep the Baltics because we were still within range of the Baltics to rep them. So me and all the other Logi are zooming in on the Baltics, watching the laser beams come in, and we're throwing shield reps onto those armor tanked Baltics to hold them. And what was the satisfying part is watching them get into armor. They would get down to like, some of them would get into structure, and then you just watch like this shield go wing, just wrap around and just take those hits out. And I know we obviously lost some battleships, but pretty much every battleship that our shield wing caught onto didn't die. There was one damnation that was just struggling to try and warp away. That got down into, I think, 10% armor, and this is a damnation, and we held him just long enough for the facts to get a hold of him and keep him. But those types of situations are my favorite thing in this game. That's why I love Logi, because it's just so satisfying.
It looks like Greg has recovered Mifune.
What? What do you mean recovered Mifune?
Recovered Mifune. Greg's got Mifune back. He's in the corner now.
Mifune.
Oh, yeah, you can't.
Greg's camera?
No, I
Yeah,
have not.
you can't see him on stream, but yeah,
You can. He's in the little background on the right there.
Yeah, but you can't see it on the Twitch stream.
Oh, yeah, okay. You got it trimmed down.
Yeah, so that way his green screen. Speaking of Twitch, you all should watch Greg during the week if you want some funny antics and chill. Because he's been streaming, and Greg, his first night of stream, what was the number you got up to on your first night of streaming?
Oh, it was like 500 and something. I'm not really sure what happened, but
Dominic,
it's
streams. If you're interested in what like a 50-year-old hippie like streaming would look like, that's why you should watch it.
That's true. It's great.
Wow,
and I say that out of love, Greg. Not like it's just how it is.
I got you, buddy. Don't worry.
If you want to see what it's like to watch a 50-year-old hippie play Eve, that's exactly what you're gonna get.
I put a link to the stream in chat. Obviously, when there's no INN programs on, right? I try not to stream when when it conflicts with the Imperium News Network. But if you're bored and whatever, I'll just sit and camp a gate, and or I'll stream some other games. Yeah, and it's just me shooting the shit. Sometimes I'll have special guests on. I had Teodorant on last night.
How did that go?
Oh, it went really well. We were talking about Serbian philosophy, and it was kind of cool.
God,
sounds excellent.
I don't know how you can.
I'd like to have you on as a special guest, Ragnar, if you'd care to be on.
Maybe. Try to pencil you in.
That sounds good.
My busy schedule, GSOL, I gotta move fuel from point A to point B.
Plus, you've got a special someone in your life now, apparently.
Yep.
Care to expand on that?
I'm dating someone. That's about it.
Did you speak to them before you started dating them?
Did I what to them?
Explain your it's an obsession, I'm sure. Or,
Oh, Eve?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I told them about Eve.
this person's also a gamer too, right?
Yeah, they play like Siege, Minecraft, Stardew Valley, whatever. They play Apex. I don't like Apex, but you know.
Now, when you play Minecraft, is it erotic Minecraft? Because I think there's such a thing, isn't there?
I believe there are some Minecraft mods that let you do that, but no, we
I
don't
don't
have
want to
any.
look at square tits. That sounds.
Why you want circular tits? Is that the only kind you like?
I'm just saying, if you're gonna, like, let's, keep it nice here, okay?
Yeah, keep it classy.
Teardrop.
Is that what Brave says?
Oh, Brave is classy, my ass.
I know.
They're some of the
classy.
saltiest people when they lose. Every time I link when they lose, they're always like, oh well, there's like double of you to us, and I'm looking around like, what double? We're literally 30 people. You have 70. What are you talking about?
We just shoot twice as fast, I think, is the problem.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
probably.
or we're more competent. Okay,
All right, we hit more often, yeah.
we don't just warp over and throw all of our heavy missiles onto the harpy tackling our FC and hope that we kill him.
I wish I could give this FC props, but I don't remember what his name was last night. It was a lot of fun. He was in Jackdaws, and he was taking on a Mutant Fleet and a Caracal Fleet at the same time and doing very well. It was a lot of fun. I wish I could remember his name. I'm looking through the list here, see if we can find it.
I heard about that. That went
Was
pretty
it
well.
was it Slavbach?
Yes, it was.
Slavbach.
Yes, it was a
That's
lot of fun.
Yeah,
Where
he's
did this guy
he's a
come
good
from?
FD. Is he new?
No.
I don't know where he came from.
He's good. I
my
like him.
dudes. That's his catchphrase. Is my dudes.
Yes. And,
Yeah, he's a fun guy. I like him.
And he was having fun, which always makes Fleet better. Yeah, not dissing any other FC, but when an FC is having fun, it makes everyone else have fun too, even if you're losing. When the FC's all morose and mad about stuff, and just makes it for like, this is a weird fucking situation. But that guy was great. I liked him.
Oh yeah, definitely the mood of the FC it spreads throughout the fleet, right? If you got somebody that's they don't have to be happy or anything, but like getting the job done and having fun, FC is you can tell who cares, and you can tell who's just phoning it in, and thankfully we don't have any of those in Goon Swarm anymore. We did have some, but they usually find their way out the door rather quickly.
Well, they do. They either find their way out the door or they stopped FCing because no one wants to join their fleets anymore. Right?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
We
every
do have a lot
FC
of great
finds.
like Asher's, he always so. I mean, not always positive. He seems always so positive most of the time. I really enjoy his fleets, and everybody else feels this way. But Havish is one of my favorite FCs too because of that same thing. He's just always so upbeat and fun. I don't know.
Yeah,
Even when he's complaining, he's upbeat.
Asher's a very good FC, but I've seen him at his realist, and Asher can be just as real as any FC. But the thing is when you've disappointed
when he
him,
expects something from you and you disappoint him,
you feel it because like
even when you did everything right, it's like, but I wasn't even the one who fucked it up, but I still feel bad.
I think he does a good job of not necessarily putting that burden on the fleet itself, though. He may be back channeling that to you. If you're seeing that from him, I don't see that from him very often.
You will not see that from him often.
It's mostly to people who he expects more out of, like that. No offense to the normal or like average line member, he does expect stuff from like the normal line, but when he expects more from you than that, you really don't want to fuck it up.
You just feel so bad when you disappoint him.
In chat, somebody just put it out very well. He's very good at conveying information without being condescending. That's super important because it's easy when you're in charge of lots of people to all of a sudden get that, Jesus, I shouldn't have to explain this to you condescending attitude. And he doesn't do that. I agree with Munbutton.
No, yeah. Though some people don't like John Hartley, I absolutely love
I
John
love
Hartley.
John Hartley.
But that's because I know I'm not the one disappointing him, and B, why am I?
He's one of those people you know he's going to explode on somebody, right? He's going to happen, and you just kind of wait for it because it's funny.
It doesn't. It honestly doesn't have to happen. It's just, you get in those situations where we're in high pressure situations, and all you literally have to do is breathe, and you can't make this worse. But some people, can't handle him being upset with them. He's not going to sugarcoat it like others. And if you don't want to deal with that, that's fine. You don't have to deal with anything in this game you don't want to. I just think that you're weak and a baby.
John expects 100% attention and concentration on his fleets, and if you can't give 100% attention and concentration on John's fleets, don't go on John's fleets.
So when you're a fleet booster and your 4 jumps behind all the time, he yells at you. I can tell you right now.
Yeah.
Where the fuck are you?
I was high. I'm sorry. I forgot to jump.
But I can guarantee you this: if you do give John Hartley your 100% concentration and attention, you will get kills. He is a very precise FC, and he is very effective. And I like John. I consider him my friend.
He's a very good FC. He's one of those people. If I see a ping from him, if I can, I go on that fleet. There's other ones that I'll go on everybody's fleets, but if I'm like busy doing something else, I won't drop what I'm doing for every FC. I will for some of them. John Hartley's one of them.
Yeah, me too.
I'm the what is it?
Asher's also one for me.
I had to earn my place into John's heart, but I knew because he randomly just started hanging out in Theta. I don't know if someone asked him to because we did the super save, so they tried to keep an adult with us every now and then whenever we're needed, and getting to know John and stuff. I wormed my way into his little heart, and other people he would either ignore or potentially be mean to or whatever, just like, or make fun of. But for me, like, I know that you learn that's just how John is. The way that you have made it to a place where he thinks you're either competent or likes you is if he's willing to make jokes about you. Because if he doesn't care about you, he just will never say a thing about you. Ever.
I would love to have John on the show. I would. You know what? I'm going to reach out to John after the show tonight and see if he will be a guest on Theta Thursday.
Good luck.
Yeah, I know you've said that before, Don, and
you only got one person that I was surprised about.
You got Carneros. Come on now.
Yeah, Carneros is a pretty approachable, nice, lovable person. I was surprised you got Asher on here because he was very adamant that he did not want to show up. It's just like, oh, sweet. I'm not going to argue with this, but that's funny.
When it comes to FC people, though, not the latest version of him, but the earlier Elo Knight was hilarious.
Oh my god!
In my bio, I still have it. It was the number of times called dumb, retarded, or stupid by Elo Knight. We were keeping tally of them, by name, and mine was 4.
Elo, I fought Elo multiple times in deployments, and having him here, it has been a real treat because I'm sad that
he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, with that, and it's a completely different style, but it's still very similar to Asher in how he moves and how he actually FCs the fleets. So that was really fun to get to experience, just something similar yet different.
With Black Legion, he yelled a lot. I mean, I get it. He expected a lot. It was just, you knew when he was leading the fleet, you were going to have a great time. You're going to kill lots of stuff, and more likely you're going to survive. Not always, but it was fun. I liked his fleets a lot. I was really happy to see him join the Imperium. I thought that was huge for us.
Yeah, it's a lot of intensity too, and again, similar to John Hartley with the expecting 100% attention and concentration on the fleet. And if you do so, you will win, right? So you got to be part of the machine at that point, and the closer you are in sync with that type of FC, the better the fleet does.
Definitely added another element of competency for our, I would say, like high, top level FC group. The ones that are into the big fleets or the capital stuff. That was as a boon for us. It was great.
And
I would not roast
What are-
oven once, and I won't do it again.
let's see. What are we? Okay, so obviously you go on the show with me, Dominic. Honestly, I want to get Greg on Trash Talk Tuesday just so he can charm them with his lovely Canadian
yeah.
wild.
Every Tuesday, just so you know,
Yeah.
it's on Tuesdays. It's every Tuesday, and you're always invited.
Yeah, Greg, you should come on with me so you can
I
have
always
fun having words of.
Don and Bill. Yeah, about my only help.
I don't like getting angry though, right?
I
Like
don't
when I
get
get
angry. I just like to call them out on their bullshit. And it's hilarious because they get flustered. They get
Yeah,
all
but-
bristled. Did you hear Billy get bristled this week? It was hilarious. He's like, hold on. You're going to call me out on something? I want to hear your reasoning. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay.
I like to agree with them and then take it to the next level of their stupidity because it just points out how dumb these things they are. They say.
I know. So I get them all triggered because I just say whatever the fuck I want. And then they cannot help but explain things to me, which is so funny. 'Cause then they tell me-
Mansplain Eve to you.
They can't help it. All of them explain like how I'm wrong or my ideas are terrible. When in fact, they've used at least 2 to 3 of my strategies that I've said out loud before they ever did it. This is what you should do, or this is what they're gonna do. And shocker, I was right. It's like I pay attention in this
Gone
game.
being right. What?
I know, right?
So
So-
what you're saying is you are Pappy's tactical advisor.
Yeah.
She is.
Whether they know it or not. Whether
That's
they
fair.
know it or not. So that's been fun. Yeah, Greg, you should come on Tuesday just because it is funny to see them all get squirrely. The one guy, Gregorian, I'm like, who the he's got a mouth on him? But I'm like, who the fuck are you? Is he anybody?
I don't. Yeah, the thing is, you say about not getting angry. If people get out of hand, they will be. They're moved out. It's fun trash talk. Not mean. Angry.
I don't know.
jackass
I sat
food.
there for an hour getting hammered on questions about how we had the audacity to make fun of Brave for not having money that one week.
because it was funny. That's why we did it.
I know, and I was sitting there. You answered a couple of questions, but they're all directing them
Oh,
towards
no.
me, and they're like,
I think
I'm
it's
just like-
early on. You made a comment and they just latched on. Yeah.
yeah, and they were just like, well, why? I'm like, that was really weird. Oh, I had at least 3 different people message me saying, I don't like seeing them beat up on you. Don't go on that show anymore.
I don't think they're beating up on you though.
Oh,
They-
I don't think you
It
had any
felt like
problem
it.
answering them.
Oh, I mean, I answered as best I could with what I had. The best part of that particular show was when they all said he blah 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 never said this. And I said exactly what he said, right? They're like, he never said that. And I said, well, here, hold on, I'll prove it. So someone in the chat sent me the actual logs because I didn't have them in front of me. I couldn't find them. He sent them to me. I copied and quoted it and said, there, that's what he said. And they're all just sat there quiet. Like,
Well, that's not what he meant. Well, that's not what I said. I said this is what he said.
yeah, and then just like they just sat there stunned in silence, and I was like,
You know
Like,
you
I
win
don't know.
when Billy logs off early. That's what
No.
happens. If he not, he's not winning the arguments or whatever, he'll just leave.
As I've said in many channels, peanut for a brain, elephant for an ego. Like that's
That more
just
towards
Billy.
PGL.
Well,
I would-
both.
I would put it more towards PGL because Billy is actually very smart, but I think he sometimes gets a little caught up in the planning stages of stuff and maybe thinks that he's thought this out so much that now, there's no way he could be wrong.
I think
But
you're right, Don,
I
about the PGL though.
But PGL is definitely a peanut.
Well, he writes checks that Billy has to cash with his butt, which is great. It just makes it even funnier.
I know you've discussed this with Philly, but I have asked to have a private conversation with Philly, Canadian to Canadian, mano a mano, and maybe we can, I don't know, unofficially come to some sort of resolution. Unofficially,
It's not gonna work.
I'm not representing Goon Swarm at all. Just kind of have a little chat. So
Canadian to Canadian.
yeah, you know.
He already
No,
said
that won't- you won't
he'll
do
talk with you. Though I
Yeah,
said it was
so
on the
you never know.
stream, but you do you.
Oh, Loki's not the worst. Jeremy might be the worst.
Jeremy's the worst.
I like him though. He's funny.
Jeremy does have
He
really
just-
pretty lips, though.
He just starts talking. He's like, "Dude, is your brain not attached to your mouth?" It's funny.
He's the most delusional one, and
Yeah,
it's like
it's
he's literally
about the
Loki was
shit
more
he was
delusional last week
doing.
though. That was weird. Yeah,
Loki's hilarious.
I'm not gonna lie. I like Billy. I think he's a funny guy when you're not streaming. He's nice. I mean, he talks stuff. He doesn't ever back off his rhetoric, but that's fine. Neither do we. I mean, it's
Honestly, I still have fun being over there most of the time, just hanging out and talking, because I do get to see new perspectives, or maybe think about something from a different way, or learn about something I never learned about, or just rile them up until they're frothing at the mouth, which makes me laugh a little bit inside and outside. But
Giggle like the schoolgirl you are.
it's fun to get Dave Archer. I mean, Redline all excited too.
When Redline was in Goon Swarm, I never talked with him because he was antisocial and never wanted to be around anybody. Shocker. But now I talk to Redline more now that he's not in Goon Swarm than I ever did when he was, because the only reputation as an FC for him was that at least that I had, was he doesn't let people talk. He didn't want to get to know his fleet or engage with his fleet, and that he was a drama queen.
And I did not have that experience with him, and I did go on his fleets a lot because I liked him. And he also did fleets at the time zone when I was like able to play. He wasn't successful all the time, right? I mean, we feed a lot, but it was still fun. I never had that bad experience with him. But I also wasn't in any type of command chat and things like that. I guess he was kind of different there. I don't know.
I like Redline.
I went on one fleet with Redline. And I was his lodge anchor. I came up to command channel with him, and we're going through, and I was like, it's really boring. It was really quiet. He wouldn't let anybody. No one was talking. So I was like, Redline, why don't you engage with the fleet? He's like, I was like, okay. So I asked one question. Everyone in fleet started chitting and chatting, and he's like, okay, no more than that. And then everyone shut up, and we didn't talk the rest of the fleet.
You're sighing. You got that down pat. That's exactly how he sounds.
Honestly, back when I was running a couple fleets, I would drag you along onto my fleets just to do that and get people to talk. Because I wasn't going to do it, but
I have
I needed someone to do it.
I have more than once been pulled on fleets to just be the engager, to get people to talk in the fleet, or at least keep things interesting. So I take that role very seriously.
Credit where credit's due. Don is a pretty darn good FC. You're not a bad FC, Don. I think
I agree with you.
Did it more.
Mm-mm.
I've never been on a holy shit, what did I get myself into Don Rea fleet, and I've been on probably about 7.
I know you never admit it. You won't accept that compliment, but he's right. I've been on, I guess, only 3, but all 3 of them were fun and successful.
I just don't feel like I do well under pressure. That's the difference. It's like, yeah, there's no pressure. Sure, let's go for it. It'll be a good time. But if there is pressure, this is an
everyone shut the fuck up. I'm trying to do a fleet.
Yeah, and it's like, guys, I'm just trying to focus here right now. I don't know what to do. Will this work? And it's like, that's where I
2 different heartbeat fleets with you. You did a great job. I don't know.
Oh, the heartbeat fleets are easy. Y'all can die. I don't care. Just
go saving
in.
oracles.
You know what?
Yeah,
the difference between a harpy and a dreadnought is nothing. Treat them the same way. Go out there, have fun, and
I treat harpies as a brawling ship when I go to save oracles.
Oh yeah, I'm just straight up in there, dive in, just grab everything, tackle everything, shoot.
That's kind of what they are with the ADC, right? They're a brawling ship.
Yeah, exactly.
And they have rails.
Yeah,
So,
think
I mean,
that's all.
technically, they're not meant to be brawling, but if you have rails that small and you're going against, like, you know, a cruiser gang who has a rorical tackle, it really doesn't fucking matter if you get close on them or not.
Good numbers. Those are effective ships.
What we should do is do our giveaway this week. There's 117 people in chat. If 118, if somebody wants to pick, or if everyone wants to pick one and 118, I will choose. I've got a
I
number
believe
written
there's
down.
a way you can just like and have them enter a contest by doing like me or something. I don't know how.
It's an add-on thing you have to have already.
I'm sure we have it.
I'll figure it out. Anyways, the prize this week will be 100 million ISK, and that's courtesy of me, since I haven't heard back whether or not Theta Thursday has a budget.
We have no budget.
Just like Theta in general, we don't got shit.
We have nothing. No one. We are abandoned. No one gives us anything. We got moved on the forums.
Oh,
We did, but
What?
at least
Where?
we got moved down to social groups.
Uh-oh.
So I was like, well, that's fine.
And
I mean,
also,
I officially protested, but I have not heard back on my protests.
what we have to look forward to is not next week, but in 2 weeks' time, we will be doing the first annual Theta Thursday Variety Talent Extravaganza show. And what we'll be expecting is a 3-minute performance of whatever you'd like to do: sing, dance, play a musical instrument, recite some poetry, do some limericks. It has to be within Twitch terms of service, so
How
we
many hot
can't.
dogs
say-
I can
oh
fit
my
in
God!
mouth
Can I
at
play my
once?
didgeridoo?
You can
Yeah, and
play
you can play your didgeridoo, of course.
Okay.
And so nothing too crazy. We don't want, obviously everything has to be vetted for eligibility and your act. Anyway,
We don't have to be good though, right?
no, you don't have to be good.
Oh,
You just
thank
have
God,
to be just display your talent. So you can submit to your act and keep your eyes open for forum posts and for posts on Discord. I think what I'll do is I'll also cross post this to that other Discord, Don. What's it called?
Trash Talk Tuesday?
Yeah, to the trash. I'm sorry, my mind just broke there for a minute. To the Trash Talk Tuesday Discord, so we can see if we can get some competitive competition. And the grand prize so far for that is going to be 1 billion ISK. 1 billion ISK.
Nice.
With prizes to be determined,
That's
without
easy
a
if
guaranteed
you
1 billion for the actual winner. But there'll be other prizes too. Hopefully, we may be able to get some skins out of INN. I think that may be something. But that'll be interesting. That'll be in a couple weeks' time. Again, I'm not really sure if it'll be at the very minimum 2 weeks, at the very maximum a month from now.
Then tonight's winner of the 100 million ISK, I will throw in a Zarmazad Blackfire skin.
Ooh, very nice. So far, let's see if anybody's got the number. Looks like we're getting. Well, what we'll do is we'll do closest to without going over.
Oh, yes. Eric's moving furniture, so I have to text him when we're ready to be done because he's not back yet.
We're gonna stay on, Don. It's not a big deal.
It's going to be all the time.
You're gonna get the number anyway, so I can text him when we're in Vegas. Speaking of, Vegas post came out. Make sure if you want to go, everything get ready. I have not read it all yet because it wasn't super detailed, but I do know that we're gonna basically kind of keep it loosey goosey till things get really close because we don't want to get screwed over like last year. I was so mad last year. I paid for that goon dinner ticket, which are like $60, right? I mean, you get all the booze and stuff, but we paid $60 and then we cancel it because we know that there's, coronavirus and everything. And the venue decides to not do a refund or anything. They just screwed us all over out of our money. So hopefully we'll never fucking use them again because fuck that shit.
I'd like to point out that of all the people in this chat, I went to Vegas last year.
Was there anybody there?
There were 12 of us.
I could have been there. They canceled my flight, and I could have tried to find a different flight, but I decided
Could have
not.
drove.
Our corp decided to say, "Fuck
Oh.
it." We all had already paid for our rooms, and we're just gonna, fuck it. We're just all gonna go anyway. We had a good time. Lots of drinking, lots of extracurriculars. Well, for me anyway, it was a good time. I don't remember most of it, but that's the way it's supposed to be.
Now there's a goon meet in Toronto, isn't there? Sometime.
There's an Eve meet in Toronto. There has been in the past. I don't know who sponsors it though. I maybe I just don't. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll have to look through the forums and see what's going on because I'd attend that. I think I'm in Hamilton here, just like maybe about an hour away from Toronto. So
We sponsored at Eve in the Midwest, or a meetup in the Midwest. Not Matani's Thursday night thing in Madison, but we've done one in Des Moines, Iowa, several years now. Try to do it late spring, early summer. It's a good time. It's easy to do. If people are, want to meet other people, just post it. People will show up. Weirdly, people show up.
Hanging out with goons.
okay, so the number that I wrote down on my piece of paper here. Everybody's. This is your last chance.
Write it in quickly.
Get your numbers in, folks. Toronto, I like it.
Toronto.
All right, so the number that I wrote down was 46. So the winner is Mr. Handsome Beast. So Handsome Beast 20. If you want to PM me your in-game details.
Zobo was like, hey,
Can you PM me yours and I'll send you that skin?
If that's who I think
send
it
it
is,
to
his in-game name is just Handsome Beast. His in Karma Fleet.
Okay, I just remembered I wasn't logged into the game. I didn't want to chew up all my computer processing power.
Oh,
So
you
that's
give it to
fantastic.
somebody else.
Congratulations, Handsome Beast.
Here, how about Handsome Beast? We'll give you the money, and then you have to pass it on to a fresh-faced newbie when you see it. How about that? Because I don't really want to go through more numbers.
Is that really your name in game then? So I'll just contract directly, I guess. Or unless, Greg, you're in game now.
Oh, my in-game name?
Yeah, so I can contract you the skin you're going to give away.
Oh, it's Greg Haza.
Is there space in there? Though? That's what
Yeah, there's space.
I couldn't remember there was.
That's also really it's also real close to my real life name.
And then I believe, are you going to stream yourself after sometime tonight, or?
Sometime tonight. I have some cybernetic stuff I have to do IRL. I have a continuous glucose monitoring system that I have to plug in. It says just after 10. I have less than an hour left to do it. So that started. I made some streaming.
Okay, let me message Eric. Done.
So I linked the stream in Twitch chat there. And if you guys want to check me out and follow, that would be great. Again, I try to do some kooky stuff, gate camping, and we got to get a roam together.
So that's that contract's up, Greg. So you can give it to.
All right, thanks. I just logged in here.
Cool. And I'm gonna plug the Able Gamer charity thing that I think it's the what is the Stream Fleet's doing.
Oh yeah.
So Redline and myself have both pledged that if the group makes, I don't know what the time frame is, group makes 5,000, we'll both shave our heads on stream.
Ooh,
I
that would be fun. And then you can see, since we're kind of we're at the end of the night, I texted Eric. I don't know if he'll be back, but let's do final thoughts. So we'll start at the top, Mr. Dominic. Do you have any other final thoughts besides the plug for the charity streams and stuff?
Oh, I say all hail Bastion, new rulers of Esoteria.
Yeah, you guys have taken a lot of space over there. Surprisingly, like I know AOM just moved into that lower pocket, but that whole kind of upper pocket up there has mostly fallen from what I saw.
Well, the one pocket did for sure. The up the corridor between us and Stain Rust. Stain Rust has done a lot of work. It's not just Bastion. Stain Rust does a lot of stuff. That's pretty much taken, or at least taken away from them if we don't control it. Right. Now, those ones that there's people moved in, yeah, they didn't really move in. That shit was just transferred over to them. Now they're trying to move in, and we're trying to stop them from doing so. So they didn't take those systems. They were just transferred over. They're not living there yet. They're trying to get into there. And Bastion's been doing everything we can to try to stop them from being able to move in. Sometimes successful, sometimes not.
Okay, Docs, do you have any final thoughts for the week?
I
Play
know
well
it's
with him?
becoming a bit of a pattern at this point, but I don't really have any final thoughts of significance.
Tell them to play WoW with you. Play WoW. Find officers. Or golden dragons or whatever they are.
I did accidentally end up in the best PvP guild on my server, but you know.
And then Eric's not here, or at least not talking. And then Ragnar, do you have any final thoughts?
You know exactly what I'm gonna say. First, Mad Cows need Zisk, and second, Pittsburgh is a racist. That's it.
We all saw that coming.
Mad Cows have left us. They went to Snuffed.
Yeah, I know. I miss
Did
Mad
he go
Cows
to-
already.
Is
Yeah,
Snuffed where they went?
Yeah, they went to Snuff.
It'll be because of Toronto. I mean,
But that's where
Yeah.
they came from, right? Right.
Uh,
isn't
I
that-
think they came from Volta,
Oh,
didn't they?
Volta. Okay.
So they're going off to have some new fun because obviously Delve's gotten to the sit around and wait portion of it, so they're not.
it's
They're
pretty
they're
boring at this stage.
yeah. I was gonna say they're ready for new content. I'm sure if there's a gigantic fight they want to get in on, I'm sure Madcast's Leviathan is still in the Keepstar. I can't imagine he moved it.
I'm sure all his levies are out there somewhere.
So
I mean, his wyverns, not his levies.
well, after that steal they made, Mad Cows has probably got a little bit of snow. And then Greg, do you have any final thoughts for the day?
Just congratulations to Handsome Beast 20 here in Twitch chat. He won himself 100 million ISK and the very nice skin that Dominarch provided. So expect more of that kind of stuff from Theta Thursday in the future. We're going to try to maybe have better contests other than pick a number between 1 and however many people are in chat. We may have some trivia. Again, I've got like an entire book full of ideas. It's like the Theta Thursday book with the little puppy in the basket. Like, fucking cute's that, man. The little puppy got himself in the basket. I don't know if maybe he can get out. Maybe he can't. Maybe it's just some little puppy stuck in a fucking basket. I don't know, man. But that's where all my ideas, all my Theta Thursday ideas end up, because I don't do any of this like typing on fucking in computer and stuff. I'm when I was coming up in the industry, I started like writing stuff in books, and so I've got lots of stuff written down in books. So as far as final thoughts too, don't forget, like in a couple of weeks, Theta Thursdays Variety Talent Extravaganza show, the first annual one, will be coming up in a couple of weeks. So keep your look at my friend Prometheus there has an idea, fucking exclamation mark giveaway. So yeah, the talent show will be coming up in a couple of weeks. So keep an eye on the forums for that. And also on your on whatever Discord you frequent, because we're going to try to pass that around as a link. And so once that's taken care of, once we get everything set up, all the all the different ideas and how we're going to run this, we'll have to have some meetings, Don. Hey, Don, we'll have to have some meetings.
Your idea, man. I'm gonna let
Yeah, I know, but we'll have to figure it out. Like you're gonna be involved. Like it's your show, Don.
I mean, you're the producer. I'm just
Right. Maybe you can do some talent, Don. What's your talent?
I don't really have. I could sing a song.
I don't believe that for a second.
Well, you like show tunes. Maybe you can do some show tunes.
Yeah, no. I sing to Docs, and he's the only one who gets to hear me sing.
I'm waiting to hear what Dox's talent's going to be. That's going to be just crazy.
I'll have to see what I can come up with.
There you go. All right. Do
I don't know if Eric is here. I think.
Oh, okay. All right. So, you have final thoughts for this week, because I think you're the last person to get. Unless Eric, do you have? Oh no, he said he's off stream. So Don, yeah, it's you for final thoughts, just to let us know what's going on inside your head.
For me, I just this week I'm thankful for all my Logi pilots that been helping with all the fights that we've had this week, which have been a blast. Delta Squad for showing Pappy tornadoes, even though Billy wants to put them down and act like they aren't doing a good job. When they're racking up 50 plus Munins killed in an evening, I feel like they're doing something, and you guys need to step it up. Or just keep ignoring them and let them just murder you, which is beautiful, beautiful. And if you don't believe me about the 50 plus kills, I have the kill boards to prove it. So please don't make me have to pull them out. Other than that, I thank you everybody who's decided to come and watch, and for our guests that joined us today. And hopefully we will have a fun week next week, pending anything crazy happening.
Yeah, and from all of us at Theta Thursday, we leave you with a little snippet from Frank Zappa, some wise words. You only have a little piece of time. You get to decorate it yourself.
All right, I think that's it.